Namaskaram. This is a very important video for students and parents who are in the CA intermediate stage. This is equally applicable for CMA Inter and CS Inter. So let us understand the title of this video. Why clearing CA Inter feels so hard, whether it's for the students or the parents and including teachers. Now we have deeply studied a lot of students across India to arrive at these insights. So this will be an extremely valuable video. Please watch till then and you can revert to us for further questions. So we have started with this approach where we understood what exactly is happening from the examination perspective. If you see from class 6 to class 7 and class 7 to 8 and 8 to 9, 9 to 10, it is all arithmetic progression. So incremental, it's only plus one at each level. After class 10, yes, it requires a certain leaping, which means the skill set which is required for class 11 is significantly higher than class 10. It's not a direct progression like the rest of the classes. So there is some level of extra skills or extra intent and effort which is required by a student. So a lot of students face some level of difficulty at that level, but we have enough mechanisms. The education system is evolved to bridge the gap. So this is one area where the student has to face the difficulty. Now, after writing class 12 to CA Foundation, this is one more area where the CA Foundation is a professional exam, which happens at 35% pass percentage. So this is also slightly difficult, especially people coming from maths and biology background as compared to commerce background. Either way, this is slightly difficult as compared to class 12. So again, the passing rate falls down from 90-95% in class 12 to CA Foundation, only 35% clear in the first go or at any given attempt. Until now, it is reasonably understood. Now, this video is very clearly about the leapfrogging distance or the giant leap when somebody has to take in order to clear CA Inter after clearing CA Foundation. It looks like foundation may be difficult. Of course, foundation is difficult, but overall, the distancing between foundation and Inter as compared to Inter and final is significant. I would say clearing CA Inter is harder for a student writing it for the first time as compared to student writing CA final. And I'll share my reasons in the upcoming slides. So this is to give you a quick overview of the perspective of this video. Now, we are looking at two aspects of this. The first aspect is from the examination or ICAI perspective. So here we have picked up certain point which indicates the difficulty level from the ICAI perspective. Number one, there are multiple new subjects. So when you're reading tax, costing, audit, FM, SM, all of the subjects for the very first time, the learning curve is very slow and the student has to get exposed to the depth and nature of the subjects which are professional and which require a certain sense of standard. So reading multiple new subjects in a single cycle or in a single stretch of preparation is definitely difficult. If I have to give an example, class 9 you study social, class 9 you study science, you study English, in class 10 you study the same set of subjects. Whereas if you look at foundation, you wouldn't be needing tax or costing or audit or financial management for that matter. And suddenly you're reading these subjects for the very first time in your life. This is the first reason. Next, vast syllabus. If you look at taxation, you have direct tax and GST. And even if you look at FMSM as a paper 3 and paper 6, it has two subjects in just one paper. So for 50 marks, you have to cover so much. And even if you look at subject like costing, which has got two modules, which has various types and methods of costing. When somebody has to learn it for the first time, again, it is voluminous. I'm not even getting into accounts because you have some exposure of accounts in foundation. So law is also reasonably detailed. So the syllabus is vast as compared to any other level the student would have got exposed to previously. Now, this is a very important aspect. The skill set. It's not about the length of the subject or the newness of the subjects. It is also about the analysis and application as a requirement. Until now, most of the exams any student has written would be based on reading and comprehension. But here we are looking at analysis and application. So this is a new skill which may or may not have been acquired by the student earlier. and the type of question paper pattern and how the question papers are set, they are comparatively difficult and lengthy because they have to be qualitatively handled and quantitatively completed. In both the aspects, a lot of students find it really difficult when they attempt the question paper. Evaluation methodology is strict because you have to be relevant and accurate in terms of the question. So the same answer, if it's a regular graduation exam, if they score 7 out of 10, here they'll only end up getting 2 or 3 because the evaluation criteria is very strict and it's done professionally. The results, students are already used to a pattern where when you write an exam, you end up clearing. So the pass percentage for any exam they would written earlier would have been 90%, except a competitive exam at class 12 level. So here it's less than 25% at CA inter level. And preparation cycle. Unlike their class 11, 12, 10, where they get almost 1 year to study a particular class, except for the first attempt. First attempt, you just get around 8 months of study leave, but still it's not utilized properly in most of the cases. And once you write an attempt, most of the students cannot study until the results are out. After the results are out, there is only 2 months left. At any given point of time, it is 2 to 3 months of preparation, then a break, then a break. There is no continuity. So the preparation cycle is significantly broken. So these are the reasons why most of the students find the examination difficult. And this is from the ICA perspective. And this is a slide which clearly talks about analysis and application, because comprehensional knowledge is largely tested at the foundation level. Evaluation synthesis just at the final level, but analysis and application, it involves using of acquired knowledge and problem solving. Again, the students would not have got accustomed to this earlier. And analysis requires, identifying issues. What exactly is the core issue given? It's not easy and it's not direct. So that is the reason why students find it difficult, both in terms of analysis and application. And questions involved: apply, identify, prepare. All of these questions indicate that the question is an analysis and application-based questions. Okay, so this is exactly why they find it difficult. This is a breakup of the papers. Like these 2 papers are for 100 marks. This paper has 2 parts again, and paper 6 has 2 parts. So if you look at it, students are supposed to prepare almost 8 subjects in the span of 8 months initially. If not, the cycle does not happen properly, in the second cycle, you largely get 2 or 3 months where you're expected to cover all of the subjects. So this is also a problem from the examination perspective. In general, apart from the pointers which we have identified, we have asked DeepSeek to check what exactly is artificial intelligence. Okay, so these are the points picked up by artificial intelligence based on the prompt given to them. So it also summarizes most of the things which we already discussed. So one is vast syllabus, complex concepts, which include, understanding of the subjects and gaining deep level concepts, especially in tax, costing, accounting, law, all of this. The standards, we talked about the question paper. Time management, as I told you, it's hard to balance both the quality of the question paper and the length of the question paper. So time management, exam pressure. So there is a lot of pressure on the exams, on the students to clear exams. Whether parents say it or not, there is always some amount of pressure, and lack of proper guidance. It is always there. We'll discuss this in the next slide. Practical application, we discuss this. Consistency, revision, exam pattern. So exam pattern, there is some newness or novelty in the question paper pattern. You cannot stick to the pre-existing trends always. You can, of course, predict it reasonably, but all of this will make it very hard to clear the exam. Now, let's move to the other side. This is not just linked to the examination or ICA. It is from the student perspective. Now, number one, there is a difference in terms of the personality of students born around 2000. So when you talk about Gen Z, we are talking about people or students born after 97 largely. But if you look at 2000, we are in 2025, most of the students who are writing inter are born after 2000. So this personality is very unique and different. And, their thinking capabilities and their pattern of thinking is very different. And it's very difficult to understand also. So for them, this exam is not very easy unless they fine tune this, unless somebody helps them to fine tune this. I'll talk more about it in the upcoming videos, but you have to understand the students who are writing this inter exams are born after 2000. So there is a significant difference in terms of a significant generational shift. So there's a lot of difference between 95 and 2000. So that we'll discuss in detail, but this you have to understand about the personality and thinking capability. Next, parenting style. Again, these generation, if you look at whether they're pampered or whether it is done in a very strict way at this age, just after they complete teenage, because they'll be writing CA into the age of 19, 20, around that corner. So just on the edge or verge of the completion of the teens. So parenting issues pop up because parents suddenly, after pampering them for so many years, if they expect them to be very disciplined, it's very hard. And even if they're strict, most of the time the students refuse to clearly explain the problems. So there is a gap in terms of the parent and student to mutually communicate well and solve the issue together. So that is also created. So where students are suddenly not finding the support and parents are not knowing what to do, although they want to do many things. So there's a gap here, especially at this junction. And teaching pedagogy, again, the methodology or the way in which subjects and concepts are to be taught, most of the teachers are not adapted to understand the mindset of the Gen Z. Now, I'm not talking about the subjects, accounting, audit, all of that remains the same. But when you look at the methodology, so there is a gap from the supply side in terms of the teaching style. So they have to be adaptive. So it requires a lot of learning and unlearning for the teachers and mentors who are involved working with this generation students. And place of learning, absence of a regular college creates a lot of chaos and confusion for the students because you cannot identify yourself with a particular place of learning all throughout to come out with a successful outcome. So most of them are leaning towards YouTube and online source of learning, where there is not a singular place or a person who is responsible or accountable for their journey. So they're getting videos and books as products, but they don't know how to use these products. So this is becoming a huge problem. And learning process, clearing CA Inter definitely requires an element of self-learning. So a lot of students are never used to self-learning. They're largely dependent on institutional sources or tutors or teachers. So here there's a vacuum there to get good quality mentors and teachers who can help them to learn on their own. They don't have to substitute self-learning, but they need somebody to help them learn on their own. And time availability, since they suddenly get time, this is leading to newfound freedom. Again, the impact of hormones and the impact of digital media, social platforms, all of this together, matched with time. Some of them are getting distracted, getting disturbed, getting deviated. So all of this is leading to a decline in their performance. And unlike schools and colleges, when you join a particular school, you can have a reasonable prediction about the kind of students or the peer group in that particular school. That's how people choose schools, right? International school or regular school, public school, private school. So you can predict the kind of people whom your son or daughter can be studying together reasonably. Here, it's significantly random when you're moving into a coaching center or when you're getting exposed to peers. You don't know the kind of influence which is going to happen because people from all backgrounds and all types of thinking process get to know each other very randomly. So it's very little, it has got very little control in terms of the impact on the student. So this is a very complex space for the student or the parent or the teacher to navigate. So this is the other side of the problem. Now moving on to what exactly is happening in the individual personality. So there is significant emotional exposure. So like never before, these students are exposed to, a lot of aspects, which is significantly increasing their expectation when they watch a video how to study for 12 to 14 hours like a pro, and then not able to study for 2 to 4 hours. It is creating a lot of distress. And most of the social media content is aspirational and which is not really, really true. So it creates a sense of FOMO, fear of missing out, and they constantly question, judge themselves without knowing the right path. And the journey and the direction is very random. And a lot of times it is making them feel more lonely and lost. So these are the terms which I want to use. So they're becoming lonely and lost because of this. There is a significant emotional trigger or emotional load on them. Everything is getting exaggerated because suddenly fear, sadness, or anger, frustration, everything is increasing manifold, which they're not able to deal, which is leading to a lot of mental health challenges. Yes, they're true. You cannot call them weak, or you cannot call them not focused. They are genuinely facing a lot of mental health issues because of how the simulation is happening on them. For a particular generation, there was no information overload or random overload of information on them without seeking it. But this generation cannot escape from any of this. So this is one which is making their emotions go haywire all across. And on a given day, there are multiple factors which are impacting their mood. So without a phone, without social media exposure, there is a chance that you can maintain your mindset or mood in a particular way. But with this, there are multiple triggers during the course of the day, which can significantly shift your mind in a haphazard manner, which will influence your ability to learn, which will influence your ability to think, which will influence your ability to experience life as such. So significant variations in the mood swings. And this is an illustration of how some of the students react to their parents. So they're like, I've always been pampered. Suddenly, this is so new to me. They're not listening, or they at least act as if they're not listening, but internally that is creating in the mind. This might be creating a lot of pressure for parents. They might be thinking that, okay, the guy or the girl is not very serious. And another problem is, yes, for the parents, they always view the kid as somebody who is yet to figure out things. But for the student, they have grown up. So there is a significant difference in the perception of how they look at each other. So this is also one more reason why they're not able to get the desired level of support from parents, although they're willing to give, although students somehow want to receive it. So there is a gap. So that's why there is more vacuum both for parents and students. And in order to address all of this, what we have discovered. So in terms of the solution, number one, mindset, it has to be handled in a one-on-one basis. So different students are having different personalities and mindsets. So you have to identify what it is. And only after you understand the mindset, you have to build a routine based on that mindset, because mindset affects their thinking, and routine is a consequence of their behavior and action. So only when the thinking is addressed properly, you can determine their actions and behaviors. So this is one. So here, a lot of times we are taking the help of clinical psychologists and sometimes psychiatrists to correct the previous year's pressure or unnecessary pathways. So this is where they require professional help. Not all of them, some of them. Some of them can realign their thinking process very easily with proper guidance. So this is one. And in terms of syllabus completion, we need to focus on the learning process. So the learning process has to be realigned, which can be done only with the help of a person. So this is where the role of a mentor comes into picture. So personal mentoring is making a lot of difference. And when it comes to the aspects of revision and presentation, they have serious problems in terms of application. They're not able to apply, we discussed earlier. In terms of revision, they're used to rote learning. But here, what is working for them is breaking down the aspect of memory into three. Number one is retention. How do you improve the retention time period? And then recall, and then recognition. Recall is used for descriptive answers. Recognition is used for objective answers. So breaking down this 5-step preparation framework, which is completely tailor-made and custom-made to the individual needs of the students, is bringing some level of results. But again, the whole process is challenging for the student, for the parent, for the mentors involved. But I'm sharing this video because I don't want you to blame the kids. They are putting an effort. Probably they might need more help and support. So that is exactly why I wanted to share this as an awareness video. So yes, for the existing students and parents, we are going to interact with you shortly to give you the feedback of what has happened so far and how can we work together with the kid moving forward. And if you're watching it for the very first time, and in case if it is making sense, you can reach out to us over WhatsApp using this number 707598590. We may not be able to pick calls in real time. So just drop a message on WhatsApp. Our team will revert to you at the earliest possible. Hope this video has given you some insights about why your son or daughter, or you individually, if you're a student yourself, are not finding it easy to move ahead in the CA Inter journey. So you can stop going through all the difficulty by understanding and becoming aware of what's happening. And if you think we can pitch in and do something for your family, you can always reach out to us. Thank you very much. This is CA Himakandan, founder of Him Life School. Namaskar.